Hey everyone, Josh here bringing you today a video about Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, the game. This isn't going to be exactly a review, but it's more of an impression video. Granted, I have beaten the game in multiplayer. I played with some friends and we beat the game in about 3-ish hours. But before we get any further, I'll just say if you like 2D side-scrolling beat-em-ups, or you're just a fan of Scott Pilgrim, you should definitely get this game. It's a good little bit of fun. You know, for $15, I think it's perfect for the price. And we did have some issues running multiplayer. There was some desync stuff that I'm sure they'll fix. I hope they'll fix. But it was never terribly game-breaking. After a reload, it just seemed to fix the issue. One thing I would like to see for sure is them to add a return to map in the settings. When you're in multiplayer, you can only exit the game, which just ends the multiplayer session. So you have to go back and re-invite your friends and stuff like that. So it's a little tedious, but that's one way to fix it. Now, let's get to it. So the basic premise of this story, it sets up why you're going through and beating up all these people. It's basically a guy meets a girl, you know, they start dating, they fall in love with one another. But there's one caveat, and old girl, Ramona Flowers, she's got some baggage. You know, she's got 7 evil exes that Scott Pilgrim must defeat if they're gonna continue being together and dating and such like that. So it's nothing really special, but, you know, the art style, the characters, it's really charming, all of it together, especially the soundtrack. I really enjoy it. You know, my first exposure was to the movie, and, you know, that really hooked me, and this game came out shortly after, so, you know, it's been about 10 years since I've last played this game. So I'm really excited that they got a re-release. Now, as far as the actual gameplay and stuff like that, like I mentioned, it's a 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up, which I think works really well with the narrative, since, you know, I mean, it's just fighting, you know. You get 6 characters to brawl with, including two DLC characters, Wallace and Knives, and the OG group, the OG 4, I suppose. It was Scott Pilgrim, Kim, Stills, and Ramona. So there's not really a difference. They've got some difference in style, I guess, but for the most part, they're exactly the same. You kind of start off with a basic kit. You know, you got a soft punch, or a soft attack, strong attack, and then block and jump. And you got 2 specials that you can use, and every time you level up, you kind of, it starts to open up, I guess. You get new skills and such like that every time you level up, so that's really nice, and it starts to open up that game a bit. There's 7 levels or stages for each X, and some of them are pretty quick, some of them are pretty long. I'd say, you know, give it about 10 to 20 minutes of your time for each level, and, you know, if you don't grind, you know, you can probably beat this game in 2 hours. But I was playing solo and it was a little difficult. Granted, I did forget about eating food, and eating food is a mechanic that helps boost your stats. So there's a light RPG element to it as far as your strength, defense, willpower, and speed, and your health and guts. So those are things to take into account. So I just kind of forced it and got to level 16, and then I found out that, hey, like, I can be much better. So that was definitely something that was fun to find out, you know, that far in. But then I started that multiplayer session with my friends, and, you know, knowing that, we had a lot of fun and beat it, and it was a good time. Now, the art style, it's pretty faithful to the comics from what I've seen. I haven't read the comics myself, but it definitely looks like it, you know, from some of the things that I've kind of glanced over or seen on the internet, such like that. Which is to say, I really like this art style. I think every character kind of stands out and has their own, you know, definite style that makes them pop. And then And same for the bad guys and the X's, you know, everything looks good, and this pixel art really plays well to this whole thing. Now, unfortunately, it only goes up to 1080p, which, you know, depending on who you are, it could be good, could be bad. It looks pretty good on my 1440p monitor, so it's pixel art. It's not gonna, you know, be super amazing, you know, but it looks really good. Regardless of what screen you're playing it on, you know, whether it's on the Switch or on, you know, like I said, a 1440p monitor. And I've tried it a little bit just to look at it on my 4K monitor, and it still looks pretty dang good. So there's nothing to worry about there. And then the soundtrack is awesome, and all of the other audio cues like the punches and stuff like that, and power-ups, noises. But the soundtrack is definitely something that I really enjoyed. It makes every level just so enjoyable. You know, that first level, you know, it's really upbeat. Well, they're all pretty upbeat, so it makes you want to just keep going and fight, you know. It's really good. I believe the people who made the soundtrack is Anamaguchi, I believe, and they did such a great job. I would love to see what else that they've done. That way I can maybe see how this compares, but I really love this job that they've done with the game itself. And as far as the bosses go, you know, some of them are difficult, some of them are kind of easier. Just depends on your level and stuff like that. You know, the first boss, Matthew Patel, he was relatively easy, but you know, it's one of those things that, you know, I haven't played this in 10 years, so you never know what to expect. But once you learn the patterns and stuff like that, you can kind of, you know, rush through the bosses and not have to deal with them and die so frequently. But me and my buddies were, you know, not really 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up type players, so we struggled a bit. But you know, this game was super fun with friends. So if you have a crew or someone to play with, I definitely highly recommend it. Solo is just as fun, but I would definitely recommend multiplayer, even with all the issues that we had. You know, and there was, like I said, some issues with the desyncing and stuff like that, and going through some doors here and there, but we managed to kind of fix it, I guess, whether it was our own doing or we just lucked out that we fixed it. And there was one time I tried to go through a door, and well, I kind of clipped through the world, and that was fun. But then we got that fixed without having to restart anything, so that was good. But yeah, so this is just basically a quick overview of the game. If you like it, I mean, like any of this gameplay that you see, I mean, hell, I would definitely buy it. I recommend it. For $15, it's a lot of fun for sure. Before I wrap everything up, I kind of want to mention, if you do kind of like this franchise or the way this game looks, I highly recommend the movie. This was my first exposure. I really liked the way Edgar Wright did that movie, directed that movie, and just everything is just phenomenal about that movie, honestly. The soundtrack, the acting, and the story. Even if they make some adjustments here and there from the comics, you know how movies are wont to do, I think it does a really good job. My only qualm is, you know, Nigga Scott is kind of an afterthought, but he's still in there. But yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. I hope you liked this video. Hope it helped if you were kind of on the fence about this game. If you have any questions, please, you know, leave a comment and let me know, and I'll see if I can't find an answer for you, or if I know the answer already. And I have been streaming a lot more on Twitch, so I don't know how I can start setting up a schedule. I plan on streaming tonight, and probably the rest of this week, I imagine, and I'll probably start just uploading some Twitch highlights to YouTube as well. So I'll link my Twitch in the description, so if you guys want to go follow me, and that way you get notified whenever I start streaming. But otherwise, everybody have a great day. We'll see you in the next time.